Welcome to Yaka Digital Network. When we look across the vast Ugandan savanna, we see an environment that requires serious physical effort to navigate. To cross this terrain, mammals like the Ugandan kobe rely on dynamic, forceful strides. Every leap requires generating immense power and absorbing heavy impacts. Compare that biological challenge to a jellyfish. Without internal leverage, it simply flows passively with the tide. Moving with deliberate intent against the force of gravity requires something solid inside, a rigid internal structure to push and pull against. When we step onto a football pitch, we are engaging those exact same biological levers to generate force and strike the ball. True locomotion relies on a precise biological machine built around a rigid endoskeleton, engineered specifically to overcome both gravity and friction. The foundation of this machine is the complete human skeleton. It provides our structural support, manufactures our blood cells, and physically shields our delicate internal organs. This entire biological frame is divided into two systems. The first is the axial skeleton, the central core. Its primary role is protection. The cranium houses the brain, while ribs securely cage the heart and lungs. Attached to that core is the appendicular skeleton. These limbs act as levers to interact with the environment. They attach through skeletal girdles. The shoulders and hips lock these moving levers securely to the stable spine. But a perfectly structured frame cannot move on its own. Setting these levers into motion requires an active motor system. Those motors are our skeletal muscles. They operate under one strict biomechanical constraint. Muscle tissue can only pull. It cannot push a bone away. Because of this limitation, muscles must be arranged in specialized pairs. To bend a joint and then straighten it, two muscles must work in exact opposition. We call these antagonistic muscles. This model illustrates the mechanics in the arm. To achieve flexion, bending the elbow, the biceps muscle contracts and shortens, pulling the forearm upward while the triceps relaxes. To straighten the arm, the roles must reverse. The triceps contracts and shortens, while the biceps lengthens. Looking closely, the contracting triceps pulls directly downward on the ulna bone, forcing the elbow joint open. Because biological motors are constrained to a pull-only function, every step we take depends entirely on this synchronized, continuous tug-of-war between antagonistic pairs. For these levers to swing effectively, the bones must meet at articulation points. But forcing two solid structures to rub together under heavy physical pressure creates immediate friction. This cross-section demonstrates the biological solution, the synovial joint. In a ball and socket joint like the hip, the rounded head of the femur fits perfectly into the pelvis socket, allowing multi-directional rotation. To prevent bones from grinding into dust, the ends are capped with cartilage, an incredibly smooth tissue. Between them is a cavity filled with synovial fluid, a biological oil that permanently lubricates the joint, allowing completely frictionless gliding. Two specialized connectors hold this entire assembly together. Ligaments securely attach bone to bone with slight elasticity, while tendons act like heavy-duty, inelastic cables to transmit the pulling force from the muscle straight to the bone. The result is a highly efficient biomechanical system. Cartilage and fluid eliminate friction, ligaments provide stability, and tendons transmit power. Observing the fully assembled machine in motion reveals the flawless synchronization of rigid bones, lubricated joints, and contracting muscles. Operating this complex engineering requires regular maintenance. The body constantly needs raw materials to sustain bone density and preserve joint tissue. We supply those structural reinforcements through our diet. Consuming local, calcium-rich foods, like dried silverfish, provides the minerals necessary to maintain a strong skeletal frame. For comprehensive class notes on mammalian locomotion and more biology content, head over to the Yaka Digital Network website. Understanding the exact engineering of your skeleton and muscles is the foundation for mastering mammalian biology and for making informed choices about your physical health.